We've been a leader in banking for more than 100 years. You'll find us here, at home, on your phone, and everywhere you go. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Sponsored by Renaissance Bank.
Hello, it's Friday, the 13th of October, and this is Newsbreak. I'm your host, Chris Kiefer, and remember, you can catch Newsbreak each weekday at 7 a.m. Watch us at djournal.com, Facebook, YouTube, or the Daily Journal's mobile apps for Apple and Android devices. We're going to take a look at today's top news and sports stories from Northeast Mississippi, but first, let's start with today's weather forecast. Today calls for sunny skies with a high of 84 and a low of 61 and a 10% chance of rain. Your 3-day outlook: Saturday, sunny with a high of 88 and a low of 66, a 10% chance of rain. Sunday, partly cloudy, high of 81, low of 52, 20% chance of rain. And Monday, sunny, high of 71 and a low of 47, a 0% chance of rain. Let's take a look now at today's top headlines. Lee County School District Superintendent Jimmy Weeks said the district will not move forward with a proposal to consolidate several of its schools. In July, Weeks said district officials were considering merging several schools using the Verona Elementary School building to house career and technical education classes. The plan would have moved Verona students to Plantersville Middle School, which would have been converted to a kindergarten and 5th grade school. Older Plantersville students would have been moved to Shannon Middle School, which houses grades 6 to 8. However, Weeks announced at the Lee County School Board meeting Thursday evening that the plan was not feasible. Moving forward, Weeks said the district will continue to explore possibilities for establishing its own career and technical education facility. The district will work with an architect to develop a variety of options. A new after-school program introduced by the Tupelo Public School District this fall is designed to help students reach their full potential in tested subject areas. The program is called Wave Time, and it's geared towards students who are on the cusp of proficiency. Students at each of the district's 3rd to 5th grade schools are selected to attend based on their state test scores. The hope is that extra learning time, which is often reserved for lower performing students, will help move these students who are close to the proficient and advanced levels. Teachers volunteer their time to work with those students on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons for about an hour and a half. The district has also started offering the program at its secondary schools. Teachers work with students through small group instruction. Lawndale Elementary Principal Melissa Thomas said students are encouraged to set goals for themselves and to keep track of them. Federal grant funds help pay for the program in grades 3 to 5. The district covers the cost of the program at the secondary schools. That will amount to around $125,000 per year. Lee County officials are considering proposals that would decrease the cost of jail alternatives. Some county officials believe the current alternatives, intended to keep non-violent offenders out of prison and ease the strain of jail overcrowding, are inaccessible to the poor. That has led at least one Justice Court judge to propose that the county absorb some of the costs associated with ankle monitors. Judge Chuck Hopkins offered the proposal during a Wednesday morning meeting between District 1 Supervisor Phil Morgan and 3 of the county's 4 Justice Court judges. The meeting ties in with recent efforts to alleviate congestion at the county's historically overcrowded jail. Morgan stressed to judges that he does not intend to dictate how they should perform their jobs. He did ask, however, that where the law allows, they increasingly consider the use of ankle monitoring and the county work center. However, programs like ankle monitoring often force the poor behind bars because they can't afford to pay the extra fees charged by private companies for these programs. Hopkins said if the county were to pay these fees, they would be more than offset by the savings from keeping that person out of jail. And in sports, the Tupelo High School football team will try to do something that it hasn't done since 2001, win at South Panola. In fact, no team has had much success in Batesville in recent years. South Panola has only lost 7 home games over the past 10 seasons. The Golden Wave entered tonight's game with a 7-0 record and are 3-0 in division play. They have defeated South Panola twice since 2013, both times in Tupelo. Tupelo's defense is allowing 8.4 points per game. It will have its hands full with South Panola quarterback Patrick Shagag, Through 7 games, Shigog has 1,391 passing yards with 15 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He has also rushed for 506 yards and 4 scores. South Panola enters tonight's game with a 6-2 record, including a 2-1 mark in division play. Other key games tonight include Olive Branch at West Point, South Pontotoc at Houston, and Boonville at North Pontotoc. That does it for Newsbreak on this Friday. Don't forget that this show is just one of the many online offerings courtesy of the Daily Journal that gets you news off the page and on the go. Check out a new episode of the Memo podcast that was released this morning. That's our news and entertainment podcast featuring hosts Emma Kent and Derek Russell. On today's episode, Jenna Parsons talks about this week's food section, Scott Morris reviews the movie Blade Runner 2049, and Derek talks about Tupelo Community Theater's Haunted Theater. Listen in iTunes, Google Play, podcast apps, or at memo.djournal.com. Each story discussed on Newsbreak can be found in your Daily Journal or online at djournal.com, where you can also find a new episode of Newsbreak each weekday morning at 7 a.m. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Kiefer. Have a great Friday.